What does skillful AI use look like at the moment? Well, at the moment, it actually looks more like augmentation, where the AI functions as a thought partner rather than delegation. And we know this from Anthropic's education report, which they released last month. Now, this is from data from January, where they actually anonymized 10,000 chats and they measured markers or behaviors of AI fluency. And one of the most common markers of fluency is augmentation. Now, two very important things here were iteration and refinement. So instead of just giving one magic one-shot prompt to the AI, you actually have longer conversations or interactions with the AI where you refine the output over time. This is different to a couple of years ago when LLMs first got big. People were talking about this prompt engineering thing where you have to give a one-shot prompt that really produced the perfect output, whereas now it's a little bit more flexible because obviously these systems have matured. So it's more about iteration and working with the AI over maybe a period of time towards completion of work. Now, this is a very good report because it actually differs from AI literacy tests. So AI literacy tests are still in their infancy. They measure knowledge more than actually skills with the AI. So we have very little real world data of how people are actually using AI models in conversation. So this provides an interesting example of this. Now, also, iteration and refinement were so important because they predicted other behaviors or other fluent behaviors with the AI. So for instance, people who iterated and refined were 5.6 times more likely to actually question Claude's reasoning. Now, this is very important because LLMs are very good at sounding fluent, even if the output is quite shallow. So you want to check if it's substantive, because again, they can sound very articulate and very clear, even if there's not much substance in the output. Also, context is very important. So giving the model extra context, like examples, or maybe defining the assumptions or parameters it can work with. Because again, if it doesn't know that, it'll just fill that in itself. So you really have to be clear with what you want the AI to actually do. This also hints at some of the skills that might be important going forward when using AI models. So metacognition might be a big skill here. Again, we're still in the early stages of actually measuring this, but a form of second order thinking. So metacognition is thinking about your own thinking, but in this case, you're actually thinking about your own thinking when working with an AI model. So you're doing second order thinking on yourself and as well what the agent is doing. But also some of this is pattern recognition. You just have to get used to using the model and almost recognize its failure modes. So to do that, you actually just have to have lots of interactions with the AI and use the AI to produce output to get used to that. Now, this kind of flies in the face of people who are still rejecting AI as a useful technology. Clearly, it's a general purpose technology and is going to be integrated across society. It already is. So you just have to accept that. And for any work, really, you have to get used to using these models, even if it's not direct technical work. The models are still going to be integrated across all types of tasks.